Okay, time to take a little journey into the buffer zone. We're across the street from the courthouse. Going to cross over here, and then I will flip the switch so that you can see a mug, but where we're walking here. So I'm just trying to suss out what differences there might be as I see the cops immediately eyeballing me. I'm not sure why, but they are. So I'm going to just wander down this way, and I'm going to wander down toward the other side of the buffer zone so that we can get you know, a view with the folks who are down there chatting, see what their take is on things. Okay, so I'm crossing from the front of the courthouse to right across the Registry of Deeds, um, also known as one of the best bathrooms out here, at least in my opinion. Gentlemen, how's it going, folks? What's happening today? What's going on?
How are you? Are we on break?
Well, yeah,
Hi,
the break that
Linda.
they weren't going to have.
Hi,
Yeah,
Linda.
the break they weren't going to have.
I lost my case.
You lost. So what was the deal? What happened?
Go ahead, Kristen. Go, girl, go,
They
Ms. Anderson, what happened?
they excused the beeping, but the crosswalk I got found at fault for.
This is now. Let's refresh for the folks who might not remember. This was the first issue
Yes.
where one officer said, "Hey, stop right where you are," and that happened to be near or in the crosswalk, right?
Right on the crosswalk.
And a second officer came along and said, "Hey, you can't stop in the crosswalk,"
Correct.
and they gave you a citation for that,
Correct.
and you lost that.
I lost that, but I won the honking because she looked at the video, and on the video there were other vehicles going by excessively honking, and they did nothing about that. So, and there was no buffer zone, and because Hardman had said, "Stop beeping, you're annoying," and
Was that felony annoying or just misdemeanor annoying?
oh, that was probably felony, federal, criminal, you name it. But that they let go, so I have to come back here on June 18th at 9 in the morning because I appealed it. And like in the video, you can see that there's clearly a vehicle in front of me stopped at the red light. What was I going to do? Go through it?
So you said she. Who was hearing this?
Oh, it was Assistant Clerk Magistrate Christine something. I don't remember her last name.
Okay,
And
so
she was very nice, very, very nice.
what do you expect the upshot to be? Let's assume you lose the appeal.
Then I got to pay $200.
How about the impact on work? How's that? What's the latest on that?
Work is good. I didn't get fired. I'm not going to cover that route anymore. So I will never be driving by the courthouse in a bus. Well, I don't want to say never, but I we will make other arrangements with if that route needs to be covered, it will be somebody else.
All right, then is this a win for them?
Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, even when my boss pulled the video of me supposedly making this gesture, she didn't see me doing it. She saw me doing something else. And I'm like, nope, definitely didn't do that.
So this is a different incident though.
Yeah, that was
This was the most recent incident.
on
Okay,
Friday.
so I don't want to make everybody confused about which one is which we're talking about here. What's the status of the gesture? I'll call it.
Over and done with. There was a police report. I did request a copy of the police report, so I'm just waiting to get that. But other than that, I still have my job.
And so, for those who may not remember, this was where you see Tom outside the courthouse with another individual, and you're mimicking kind of like a fight to him, as if are you having a fight with this person?
Because the person that he was standing next to, I know he doesn't get along with. So I was like, what's going on? Are you guys? And he's like, no, 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 no.
And at that point, the three troopers rush over, suggesting you're making that gesture to.
Punch the trooper.
Okay, defensive? No, not at all. Okay, well, I'm glad all that worked out, at least to the degree that it has. Good luck on the appeal.
Thank you.
Anybody? Let me ask. Anybody else here have some thoughts on how the new buffer zone is working out? Anyone?
Working out just great.
Right? Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that we can stay here is great.
Yeah, so how did that all evolve?
We're all happy and quiet.
I don't know. We don't. We just every day is a learning process. I think. Don't you think?
Yeah.
We just don't.
Yeah.
Now, was anybody here when Tom was escorted across the street? Anybody
I
here?
was here.
Yeah, what'd you see?
He was just standing on the corner, just minding his own business, just streaming. He wasn't being loud. He wasn't doing anything, and they just walked over, yelled at him, and grabbed his arm and picked him up. He walked across. I mean, it's not funny, but they just brought him across. He came across the street.
And he was told he could stand there Friday. Correct. And then he shows up. I believe so. Was to, okay, so another trooper told me he could stay there. And then when he shows up this Monday, you know, they were not very nice about it, which is horrible, you know. It's
So how come I'm confused about the I'm calling it the First Amendment zone because it's technically down there, another 150 feet, right? So how come you guys are allowed here? How did that evolve? Anybody?
I'm not actually. So I'm actually part of the buffer zone lawsuit, and I'm really not sure. So they had told her,
What was your name again?
Allison. They had told her that she needs to change it, or they would change it for her. It came back to her, and it was kind of just it made no. It was like a word salad, but they told us that we can be here now. So I don't. But they told us that nothing changed.
And wasn't Erica Walsh? Wasn't she arrested right about here somewhere?
It was right there.
So she was technically further from the courthouse than you are right now.
Yes. Yes.
And I know
We're not
Margaret.
allowed to wear anything in this area. We can't have signs, and we can't wear anything in this area.
Got it. I know Mark Randazza, who also represents me in the number 2 lawsuit by Tom and I. And so he was here. I talked with him over the weekend, and he said he was coming in. He did. And so he was representing her unofficially at the time she was arrested. Have you seen her back out here since?
She was here yesterday because she had a hearing in the morning, but they continued it till Friday. She was here yesterday. She was no incidents.
Was she wearing any gear?
No, she was dressed for court, so she didn't have anything on. But
So he's got the hearing tomorrow in Boston.
yes, 3 o'clock.
Basically, a final effort or an additional effort to get the court here, Judge C, to actually do something.
So there was actually, I don't remember does anyone know the judge's name from yesterday? No, that's the federal judge. So there was a hearing in Superior Court at 12 yesterday, and Mark had people bring in a bunch of signs to show them the signs. It sounded promising, but you never know because he is Bev's co-workers.
Aiden had. I can forget his name.
So you're in the pursuit with.
Jason Grant, yes. They. Yeah, I know. But they had them bring the signs in, and the judge sounded like because he was saying, there's already laws in place to deal with people like interfering with the jury or harassing witnesses. He's like, so I don't, but nobody from the Attorney General's office showed up to, to contest it. So that could be good too. So if he changes it, we won't have to go to federal court tomorrow. But if he doesn't, then the federal court will do whatever they want to do.
That'll be 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Okay, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to wander on down to the buffer zone.
There's nobody
line.
down there right now.
It's interesting. So where's like I'm looking for some of the folks I always see down here.
like Dennis and Scott.
Yeah,
They all
Scott.
left for the day because they went to they were going on a tugboat tour.
Nice. Oh,
Yes.
all right.
So they would have been there right now.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Okay, so I'm actually glad to hear that Scott McGinnis, who's been our unofficial beat reporter when I'm not here, because he is always here, today not here, because he's doing something actually fun and personal. So I'm wandering down the end of the road here just to kind of cover the turf. But normally, coming up here, I'm crossing now past the district court. Down here a little bit further is where the First Amendment zone actually ends. Or does it really end? Should it really end? No. Um, but this is where other folks would normally be queued up because this would be the line upon which the cops would have said, you know, don't even think of getting in here. So here you have the buffer zone, just that distance I walked. And those folks, those supporters, are allowed to be there. Obviously, no accoutrement of any sort of Karen Reed paraphernalia. But that's a change, and I just wonder how, in this evolving situation, the cops, what kind of direction are they getting, if any? Because you know, when you're arresting people and you're physically accosting people, that's Erica Walsh and Tom DeRozier, respectively. Um, aren't there repercussions? You know, interior in the business, in the office, somebody somewhere saying, wonder if we went too far. Wonder if we should have a more uniform application of these rules. Anyway, whatever it is or isn't, it continues to evolve here in Dedham, Mass. So stick around. JSTV is going to be on it. We will be here at the Golden Dome for a couple of days today, including a quick trip to Boston tomorrow afternoon for that federal hearing. The weather is going to be all hell. It's going to be brutal. But that's not going to deter us. So stay with us.